Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here, welcome back to the channel for another update on Solana. So things look like they're about to get interesting. The total altcoin market cap is breaking down for the past few weeks. Bitcoin is signaling a reversal on the lower time frames, but Solana has pretty much stayed the same price for the past 116 days. Are these signals that we're seeing in the greater markets letting us know what is going to be coming next for Sol USD? Let's find out in this video. Now, first of all, I want to look at the markets a little bit outside of these Sol USD charts. First of all, if we do come over to the total altcoin market cap, as we've been discussing in other altcoin videos on my channel, if we look at the major bull run the altcoins have witnessed, if we draw a Fibonacci from the swing low up to the swing high, you can see that we have this major 618 Fibonacci region at 685 billion. For the altcoin market, we reverted back into this in August of 2022. We got rejected from this and broke lower. And when we quite recently came back up to this in the past month or so in early April, we didn't quite make it up to the 618 Fibonacci. However, the total cryptocurrency market cap did. So we currently know Bitcoin is obviously showing some major strength against the altcoins right now. Maybe not on the daily time frame, but if we do look at what's happening over on the Bitcoin dominance right now, and when I say daily time frame, I mean maybe not today, but we are having a major breakout of a bull flag on the dominance. So Bitcoin is showing some major strength against altcoins, and particularly Solana. If we look at Sol BTC, which in my opinion is going to be a great leading indicator of what is to come next for Sol USD, you can see these two charts look very similar. If we come over to the daily time frame, what you can see for Sol BTC is this massive parabolic run up. You've got this spiky distribution phase, but then you've already started to come down and reverse a lot of the gains. In fact, from the Fibonacci swing low to the swing high, it looks like we're about to break through the 618. However, Sol BTC, or Sol USD rather, we've had this parabolic run up and we're still in this spiky accumulation phase, whereas Sol BTC looks something more like this, where we've already started to break down. Now, a lot of altcoin BTC pairs are leading indicators of what should happen next in their USD pairs. You can see, looking at Sol BTC, we of course have talked about this before on the channel, we reverted into this double 786 Fibonacci from the bear market lows up to the bull run high, and we reverted back into this, we got rejected, we broke down, and in the past few weeks or so, you can actually see we came into contact with not only the bull market support bands, but we almost touched the EMA ribbons for the second time before moving lower. You can really see in the past few weeks we have solidified a pretty strong rejection on the bull market support bands for Sol BTC, and it looks like we're heading lower. Sol USD is also showing weakness right now as we are coming into contact with this curvature downtrending line of resistance, and for Sol USD, this is where things get interesting. A lot of the markets, the altcoin market, the total cryptocurrency market, the Bitcoin dominance, BTC, Sol BTC, Sol ETH, these are all going to be leading indicators of what could happen next for Sol USD. So I think this 116-day sideways accumulation phase is soon to be done for Solana. So what does that mean for the price, and where could we be going to next? Well, let's talk about it. Let's get rid of the bull market support bands for right now. Let's head over to the weekly time frame and look at the macro picture. Looking at the volume profiles right now, it's been a while since I've been on this chart, so let me just update with the new data that we do have in the market. Right now, you can see we are sitting in a big cluster of liquidity. So it's no wonder why we are trading at this region for so long. As you can see, when we have areas that are very illiquid, so for example, I'll mark these illiquid volume profiles with red. What normally happens when you come into an illiquid area is you have very quick movements in the price, and I'll show you in just one second. So these red boxes, once again, are areas where there's really no liquidity, and the blue boxes are areas where there's lots of liquidity in the market. So let's see what normally happens. You've got lots of liquidity traded in this blue box down here. This is why you spend so long having price action in this box. You move into an area where there's not much liquidity, you absolutely explode up. You come into an area where there's a bit of liquidity, spend a tiny bit of time trading, not much liquidity, straight back up. To be fair, there's not much liquidity in these clusters in the first place. This blue cluster right here, there's lots of liquidity. You can see we spent weeks trading back here. This was support. When we broke down, this was flipped as resistance. We blasted through this and spent 2 weeks here. So when you come into these blue bars here where there's lots of data traded, you can see lots of time spent in this range. When we broke back down, lots of time spent in this range. When we broke back up, lots of time spent back in this range. And then as you can see, as you kind of taper up into these areas where we've got no volume, so the red, you have very quick moves, you have very quick moves. Over here, you can see big red box, there's not much volume, very, very quick moves. And as you can see, there's really no volume collectively traded in this area, which is why you very quickly come down to an area where there is liquidity in the market. So there's tons of liquidity which has been trapped in this range since all the way back on the 29th of March 2021. So, you know, since we came into this range, this was about 651 days worth of trapped liquidity trapped since, you know, around about $44 or so. People that maybe held on for too long on Solana, didn't sell at the top, tons of liquidity still in this area. And of course, you know, a lot of people have been trying to push the price up to these higher regions, but it looks like we've pretty much found a solid area of resistance for Solana, and it looks like we're showing weakness right now, and the markets do want to move back down lower. Now, what's interesting as well, I think the bull market support bands best capture this. What you'll notice is since the all-time high, you break down. When you're bouncing on the bull market support bands, when you break up higher, you're in a bull market. When you lose these as support and retest them as resistance, that's how you know you're in a bear market. So over here, even though we pushed above the bull market support bands, we continued to break back down lower after that retest. When we came over here, we had a touch point over at, let's just look at all of these, a touch point at $150, touch point at $40, lower high after rejecting from these. And then as you can see, we came into them and we've been trading in the bull market support bands round about this 25 to or 27 to $20 range, which is where these bull market support bands really are. You can see every time we've come into these, we always, once we fall to the downside of these, have a strong rejection. What we're doing right now, though, is a tiny bit different than what we've done in previous cases. There's the most amount of liquidity in this market right in these bottom half of the clusters down here. So we've really just spent a long time grabbing that liquidity from these regions. But if we do come down to the daily time frame, you can see as the markets are starting to move down, Solana is starting to move down to this red box where there's really not that much liquidity. So if you start to see Solana break beneath $20.30, what this could look like, in my opinion, is a very quick move down. We had a parabolic run to the upside. As you can see, we've been consolidating within this spiky formation, and this looks exactly like a bar pattern with a price target coming back down to the lows at $8. Now, I talked about a similar pattern at the start of the video for Bitcoin. What we have over on Bitcoin is a beautiful diamond top reversal pattern. These happen after parabolic runs up. You consolidate within these diamond formations, and then you have a reversal pattern. That's why they're called diamond top reversal patterns. For Solana, we have something very similar. We have something known as a half diamond top. So basically, this is pretty much the same as a diamond. However, you've got a flat surface on this diamond, so you can see the diamond here, and then you've got the half diamond shape at the top here. So these will pretty much do the exact same thing. Diamonds are typically a little bit stronger with a better chance of breaking to the downside, but nonetheless, you know, this is looking pretty weak right now. I'm sure there's multiple ways that you could draw the support floor, because, you know, of course, we've got wicks. We've also got, in my opinion, you know, candle bodies showing the trend a little bit easier. But even if you're being very conservative and you're now drawing down to the candle bodies, if I show you by just removing everything on the chart, we are starting to lose this final support. So it's looking like this half diamond top reversal pattern could be coming for Solana very soon, especially if we start closing daily candle bodies beneath $21.50. It's going to start looking pretty ugly. We're also, on the daily time frame, you can see we're trying to fall beneath the bull market support bands. The last time, if we come over to the weekly, have we had a weekly close beneath this? We have not yet had a weekly close beneath the bull market support bands. Every time we had a weekly close beneath them, like here, we got continuation. We had a weekly close here, we got continuation. We had a retest of them and a weekly close beneath it, continuation. Since we've been trading the bull market support bands, we've had a couple of daily closes, so I wouldn't take that with a, you know, huge grain of salt. But what I would be saying is, you know, all of the weekly candles to the downside have been closing inside / above the bull market support bands. If we start, you know, in the next 7 days breaking to the downside of this diamond top reversal pattern, which is also a bar pattern, which is also us holding support on the bull market support bands, which is also us quite recently getting rejected from the weekly EMA ribbons, if we start coming down from this point, then in my opinion, we will be coming all the way back down to $8. So we have been trending sideways for a very, very long time on Solana. But the leading market charts that we've discussed in this video are kind of letting us know that this consolidation is pretty much going to be done very, very soon, in my opinion. One other way of looking at this is looking at what's happening right now with the Fibonacci's from the most recent swing high down to the swing low. You can see this was the top. This was the bottom. We had a reversal into the 618 Fibonacci. Typically, when you're in a bear market, what normally happens is you have a top, you break down, and then when you find that low, you normally see price revert into the golden box, the 618 Fibonacci, maybe the 0.5, maybe the 786 before breaking back down higher. This isn't a sign that a new bull run is coming. This is really just a textbook signal letting you know this is a dead cat bounce. We're reverting back into the golden ratio. We're reverting into resistance, and you can see we had 1, 2, 3 perfect retests of the 618 Fibonacci before breaking back down lower. And then you might be saying, Cowboy, what's this? Surely we had a 4th retest, right? Well, it wasn't right on the 618 Fibonacci. It was actually lower than all of these retests of the 618 Fibonacci. What this is really in contact with is these previous lows back down here. So, you know, throughout this phase, this was the bear market lows. We bounced. Everyone was saying the bull runs back, blah, blah, blah. We broke beneath the lows. We just retested these lows as resistance, and it looks like we're starting to come back down right now after forming these diamond tops and also these massive, massive bar patterns. So things are looking pretty weak right now for Solana. If we do start breaking back down to the downside, if we draw our fib from the swing low to the swing high, we do have a 236 down here. I don't really care too much about 236s. The 618 is also down here though. This is what I've got my eyes on. $15 in the immediate short term. In the next week or two, I definitely think the altcoin market and Solana is going to have a nasty move to the downside. Now, this could correlate with economic data. If you're a veteran on the channel, you might watch a lot of my videos. I talked about, you know, yesterday, how this is a huge week for the markets. We've got lots of economic data coming out. We've got consumer sentiment coming out, but most importantly, we've got CPI on Wednesday, core CPI, headline CPI, sticky CPI, all of these CPI numbers that will be coming out will be coming out on Wednesday. If you do want to know the economic data and news that will be moving the markets this week, make sure to head over to my channel and watch this video. Huge week for the markets. If you want some analysis outside of Solana, if you want some analysis on Bitcoin or maybe the S&P 500, check out these 2 most recent videos I've done. Bitcoin, a reversal signal flashes. That's just a quick Bitcoin update. And down here, we made a 20-minute video on Bitcoin and the S&P 500 titled Smart Money is Selling Bitcoin and the S&P 500. So bear in mind when I'm doing the Solana analysis, I'm not just looking at Solana while I'm just showing you the Solana charts. A lot of my analysis takes into consideration what's happening in the greater markets, the economy, economic data, S&P 500, Bitcoin, all of that stuff. So if you want a broader perspective on the market than a lot of other Solana YouTubers, make sure to check out my channel. That's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Weekly time frame as well. We've got lots of room to move down. Stochastic RSI is around about 50. These normally trend between 0 and 100. As you can see, most of the time it's 100, 0, 100, 0, 100. Well, this was 80, but you know, you get my point. There's lots of room to move to the downside for the oscillators right now. And the last couple of charts I want to wrap up on, we talked about the dominance, so let me get rid of this, is really what's happening with the Elliott wave theory. This is still completely valid. Like I said, we've been chopping sideways in a very boring market structure for the past, what was it, 116 days? Something like this. But the higher time frame Elliott wave theory on the weekly time frame is still playing out. In the bull run, we had that explosive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what's happened since then? We haven't had a typical 5-wave bear market. In a lot of other charts, we've been forming things like 5-wave asymmetrical triangles, but specifically for Solana, and I also believe that this pattern is prominent on Gala Games, we actually have an interesting Elliott wave theory technical called the WXY INI free structure. I've talked about this before. This is where you have a wave W, a wave X, and a wave Y. This is basically a 3-wave correction, but unlike your typical Elliott wave theory, which is an A, B, C correction, and you might have, you know, 5 waves and A, B, C corrections within these structures. What an INI3 is a WXY, and within these we have A, B, C's coming down to wave W. We have an INI3, which is an A, B, C in wave X. These don't have to be like A, B, C, or they don't have to be something like A, B, C, a lot of the time they can look something like this. They can just look like any kind of free wave count, not particularly denoting, you know, higher lows or lower highs, things like this that you normally see in the zigzags up, zigzag down. Any free wave count can count with this wave X, but then when you snap back to reality, you have another zigzag. So you have your zigzag ABC, any free, and then you have another zigzag ABC coming into wave Y. And with this, you can see we've had that major retracement to wave A. We've had that major bounce back up to wave B, and it looks like we're still waiting for that breakdown to happen, coming down to wave C. I think we're going to come all the way down to about $5. If we do find our major volume profile chart over on Solana, $5 is a psychological level. We've got a touch point right here at $5, and $4.50 is a massive cluster of volume and liquidity trapped in the market. The POC, the point of control, is down here at 190. I'm not predicting 190. I'm predicting $5 and $4.50. We'll see what happens when we move back down to these levels. So as you can see, you know, right now, the main takeaway from this is we're trading in a big cluster of liquidity. Beneath us, there's not really, and I'm going to, you know, move this one away because I don't know why I drew this as a cluster of liquidity. Really, there's not that much support in this volume profile down here. You can really see this blue line down here, which we spent a lot of time trading at, around about $13 to $15. This is your only last line in the sand. If we start falling beneath this level, there is really not that much liquidity in the market. You can see big liquidity, no liquidity. So if we start falling down from here, just like we did before, you can say, hey, you know, this was FTX, that's why we moved down so quickly. Yes, that is part of it, but also having no liquidity allowed us to push all the way through this entire volume cluster. With that being said, my friends, that's all I've got for today for Solana. We've kind of run out of time for this video, but if you do want me in the future to cover some of these on-chain datas for Solana, then let me know down below. A lot of these are looking pretty weak right now. We do have some metrics turning up, like the number of new addresses on the Solana network on the daily, but if you want me to look at this in a macro perspective, lower time frame perspective, and just update Solana's on-chain, then let me know in the comment section down below. This personally, with what's happening in the charts I've already presented to you, these are the main takeaways that I would keep focus on anyway. So for today, my friends, that's all I've got. As always, if you do enjoy my content, let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. Share the videos with your friends. If you want to further support the channel, feel free to click the join button and become a member today. Follow me over on Twitter at 618_cowboy. I'll leave it here. Spinny Boy Cowboy Trades. I'm out. Peace.